Before we get to the interview, I just wanted to mention that a few minutes into recording, Mikayla's audio starts to falter a little bit. You can still hear her, but you can just tell the audio quality isn't typical for what you find on the podcast. I still decided to go with it and not re record because the conversation is so impactful that re recording it just would not have the same effect. So please enjoy my conversation with Mikayla.
It's time to talk about luxury cruising. From sweet so sweet to ships elite. Come explore the world in style with me on Luxury Cruising, the podcast.
Hey, it's Krystal here. Before we get started, did you know that there is a way for you to directly support the podcast? Head over to my website, luxurycruising.net, and you can buy me a latte, a glass of champagne, or even a whole bottle of champagne if you want. Leave me a note, and I'll be sure to give you a shout out on the next episode. That's luxurycruising.net. You can also leave me a note or ask a question. Okay, let's get on with the show.
Welcome back to Luxury Cruising. I'm your host, Krystal Sorditis, and I've got something really special this week. Mikayla is here with us, and instead of a trip report, Mikayla, who I consider a luxury travel concierge, and maybe even a little bit of a luxury travel coach, she is going to talk to us about how she helps people make that transition from maybe even being a casual traveler to really being able to curate that luxurious experience, cruise or otherwise. Mikayla, please tell the audience anything you want them to know about you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. And I'm truly honored and excited to bring you all listening into a different conversation than what you're used to hearing when it comes to luxury travel and cruising. We're actually going to step away from the logistics and the amenities and getting out of our head and drop down more into our body. So we're going to go into deeper conversation around identity and embodiment. And my goal at the end of this conversation, I want the next time that you go and choose a cruise line, that you're not choosing it just because it's beautiful or it's just because what social media is deeming what is the best at the moment. But I want you to choose a cruise line that is going to draw you closer to yourself. So we're really going to tap into the emotions and the energetics behind luxury travel. So that way, when you're designing your next experience, you're going to return home transformed and not just impressed.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the coach in me absolutely loves that trajectory. But for people in the audience who may not really understand or be able to get a visual of what that means, can you take us through an example, maybe with a client, about sort of the before and the arc through to that after experience?
Yes, of course. So there's one client who is coming to mind. Actually, I was thinking about her too before this this show we're airing. So we're just gonna go with a name. Her name is Jessica. She reached out to me. She was planning a trip to Egypt. Now, she actually already had a travel agent that she had been working for years, but every time she had brought up Egypt, she kept pushing her towards this cruise line, which is a great cruise line. It was AMA Waterways. And Jessica just felt off. She just felt like it wasn't the one for her. Um, so I invited her onto our call. And when we get on a call, it's a travel consult. I really like to go deep into your desires. Again, this is back into like the emotions and the energetics behind why we travel and why we choose the destinations that we choose. So we don't really speak of surface level. And I feel like a lot of travelers, they start with the logistics, right? And when you get into logistics, you get into your head. And I want to draw you back into your body because at the end of the day, what we're really after is a feeling, the way we're going to feel on this experience and the person that we're becoming and that the space allows us to be when we're traveling. I just had met her. So she started sharing to me her journey. She's a very successful entrepreneur in the online space. She has hit a milestone, 7 figures in a business. And on the outside, it looked beautiful. But I could tell during our conversation, she didn't go too much into the details, but I could tell she was in a pivot in her life that just something was out of alignment. And at the end of the conversation, I realized that what she really desired was a trip that was going to help her see that the journey she was on was no longer in alignment with who she was, and that it was okay to pivot. So when it comes to Egypt, most travelers start at the Giza pyramids. So the Giza pyramids are the perfect pyramids. They're the grand ones that everyone wants to go and visit. They usually start there first. But for her journey, for this design, I wanted to send her to the Bent Pyramid. So it's actually a collective of the Dasher pyramids. For anyone listening, the Bent Pyramid, the story behind it, their initial plan, in the middle of it, the foundation, it started to crack with their original design. So they needed to pivot in the middle of building this beautiful pyramid, and they had to bend the pyramid. They had to change the angle. So hence the name, the bent pyramid. So I thought this was a perfect place to start for this client, so that when she was there, she could really soak up in the space and extract the wisdom of the bent pyramid, that it's okay to pivot in your life, that it's okay. And maybe a lot of travelers or anyone, just I feel like anyone can honestly relate to this. There comes a point into your life where we need to make shifts, that your original plan no longer fits the mold of this person that you're becoming. And I believe this is just a beautiful start for her on this journey. And I actually found a cruise line. So this was, I want to say it was the MS Symphony. But it's more of a niche. It specializes in Nile River cruises. And for this client in particular, she really wanted to experience also the culture, but wanted something more modern. So this was the perfect cruise line. Whereas the AMA Waterwise, it's more global. I wouldn't say it's just a specialty. So the MS Symphony is more niche, and it was able to start at the Bent Pyramids and really create a journey where it can meet her where she was at in her life and help her expand to who she was becoming. So that is the story of this client. And just to fast forward, she actually is no longer in the online space. She let go of this seven-figure business that, again, she was thriving in, but she chose to sacrifice her peace. She shared her journey now. But yeah, she's choosing to just focus inward and tap into the person that she's becoming. And she realized, which I feel a lot of maybe listeners, you might be prioritizing, right, the external factors, those external goals, but what we really want to do is draw inward to your truth and what you're truly craving. And I think it's okay to say that most of us, if not all of us, really desire peace at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And what about for people who might be listening? They're like, well, I don't have a seven-figure business. Like, I barely get six figures a year in my life, maybe not even six figures a year. Like, this isn't for me. What
Mhm.
about the people who think like luxury travel, luxury cruising is completely out of reach?
Yeah, absolutely. So, funny, I keep bringing up Egypt. Another client, she's actually not an entrepreneur. She actually works, I want to say, in insurance. So she's a work from home mom. She has a baby girl, and she just got engaged, got married, and she reached out to me to plan her honeymoon. Now, when she came up to me, she was intimidated by her budget, of course. So this was at the time, it was under 10,000, not including flights for the trip. And she wanted something luxurious. And when she came to me, the itinerary that she had in mind, what she was sharing me, it did seem out of range for her. But when I tell clients when they come to me, I'm like, just share your vision. When we get back into the logistics, we get too much in our head. I was like, I just need you to draw back into your body. Just tell me your dream. And it's funny, I actually had her create a vision board. So I'm not sure if anyone understands the power of vision boards. There's this podcast I need to listen to. It's with Dr. Tara Hart. I actually listened to her on Emma Grede, and there's another podcast that just launched. I forgot the name of the podcast, but she actually goes into the power of vision boards. So maybe we can share that at the end of the episode with a link for people to listen to if they're not familiar with the power of vision boards. So I tried to create this vision board. And at the end of this conversation, I was dropped into my body. I move on intuitive hits. So I got these three words. It said the Maldives and Egypt. So I ran with that. So I talked to my partners, and of course, I shared the budget. And what I do is I kind of create, again, I extract the vision from your story, and then I go into the logistics and the vision of it. And I'm like, this is the story that I want to create for her. Um, are you the right person to help me create this? So they get back to me, and they actually had this amazing offer. We were able to get her the price for two. She paid for the price for one to go on this luxury cruise line. So like this deal just appeared. Like, and it's not like a deal. I don't want to say like it's always possible. And I just don't believe in coincidences. So I just believe that when again, when you're willing to surrender and step in and receive support, that miracles will happen. Like maybe she reached out on another time or just had doubts or didn't reach out, who knows, this deal
Yeah.
may not have been available. And I think a lot of people, they go out again, they go into logistics, they go to see what's online, let me see what's available. They start comparing and the doubts start creeping in, oh, this isn't for me. But in this case, the client said that she reached out to someone like me who can support her and hold the space for her and really bring her vision to life and just anchor it in and bring it into reality because she trusted me and she really wanted to step into this luxury travel experience. She surrendered, and I like to say the universe delivered with this amazing deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like to say something that I learned from my coach, who probably also has a podcast on vision boards. And if I can find it, I will link it in the show notes. Shout out to, Susie Rosenstein and her love of vision boards. But it's something that I've worked on and she's helped me with is that thinking about the what without the how. So what do you want, right? Like she wanted Egypt, maybe she wanted a cruise, maybe she wanted the Maldives. It's sort of like it's going to happen. And maybe people feel like if you put things out in the universe, it comes back to you. It sounds like she put it out into the universe and she got this amazing luxury cruise, 2-for-1 deal. Don't get bogged down and discouraged by the how. And I think that from a luxury cruise perspective and for people who are planning a luxury cruise, like I know one day I'm going on a world cruise. Like it's in my mind. It's as sure to me as the sun is going to rise tomorrow. So how I'm going to have that done, the logistics, the when, what's going to happen with my pets and my kids and all that stuff, I don't know. I know that I'm preparing myself so that I will have the funds to pay for the luxury cruise. But except for that, I'm just like, it's going to happen one day. One day I'm going on a luxury cruise. And that's it. And that's all. So just allowing ourselves to accept that one day I'm going to go to Egypt or one day I'm going to go to the Maldives or whatever it is without getting bogged down in the how and maybe reaching out to someone like you and saying, this is my dream. How can I make it happen?
Yeah, I love that reflection. Like you said, when she reached out, she allowed herself to receive, be supported. And I think I even, of course, am challenged by this as well. It's just asking for help is we feel like we have to do it all. And that's when the how comes in. How am I going to do this? And we get down that just negative rabbit hole. But when you have someone to mirror and reflect back to you and hold that space, it just allows you to just invite ease into your body because when we're in a place of just joy and presence where we just open ourselves up to opportunities. When we're focusing on the how, when we get heavy, we feel constricted, we're
Right.
blocking things from coming to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, one of the things that I ask all of my guests on the podcast is what is their definition of luxury? And before we started recording, you really had some really amazing thoughts about luxury. So, can you just repeat all of it and share it with the audience?
Oh yeah. Oh goodness. And it's so funny. I see this online too. We're both on LinkedIn, and I feel like every time I see it, something new comes out of me. So it's forever expanding. But I like to look at luxury from an energetic and frequency perspective. So to me, luxury isn't about price point. It isn't about status. It is not about consumption. Luxury is more about the person that you become on the experience. It's the person that you allow yourself to be. It's the frequency, the identity that you bring into an experience, which is always expanding based on the season that you're in. So that's how I see luxury. So if you're back to when you asked, like if someone maybe doesn't have like that income and they don't see themselves as a luxury traveler based on limitations, that's just
Hmm.
simply an identity shift. And you just have to look at it from an energetic level. If you want to be a match for luxury experiences, then you got to really get clear like, okay, what does luxury mean to me? What would it look like? Again, you want to tap into like, right, the visions and the dreams and get out of the external, the status, the symbols, and just draw back inward. That's how I see luxury.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we were also saying, that when you have those identity shifts, it can be really difficult. Like and I've written a blog actually about an identity shift. I'll also link that in the show notes. And so talk a little bit more about whether it's your personal experience or your client's experience in navigating through the difficulty, the angst, right? In that identity shift from being, let's just say, a average traveler to a luxury traveler or a luxury cruiser.
Yeah, just retouch up based on the client I shared at the beginning, I think is a beautiful experience. So I had met this woman. I'm gonna get into the serendipity of how I even met this client. So I started building my business on Facebook. So I built it all organically in the DMs. So social media wasn't my thing. I was one of the millennials who stayed off social media. But as I entered the world of entrepreneurship just 3 years ago, I'm like, okay, I know I want to sell online. So I just immediately got called to Facebook. And so I'm just connecting with people, adding friends, having conversations in the DMs. So I happened to meet this client. I can say her name. I know she's given me the okay to share her story. Her name is Raven, and we're connecting online. She's actually out here in Florida, as I am as well. And we just carried on the conversation. And then we fell off. Next thing you know, I get invited to an event out here in Orlando. And once is immediate when I got there, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I want you to meet somebody." And then she brings me to Raven, which I'm like, "Wait, you look so familiar." And then it clicked. We're like, "Oh my gosh, we've been in the Facebook DMs. Like, this is amazing." So it's like we felt like we knew each other already because we had already built a
Yeah.
connection. It's like, wow, this is amazing. So it was over the course of 3 days, this event. So of course, we sat next to each other. We got to know each other deeper. This was a very transformative event. So we got closer, like very vulnerable, shared our stories, tears fell, and we just stayed connected ever since. So this is maybe 2 years now, just staying connected, like touch, like, every few months or so. We got engaged. So I just reached out, congratulating her, like, I'm here to support you in any way. And she was just vulnerable, share. She's like, like, I want to go on this beautiful honeymoon, but I don't see how it's possible. Now, the identity instilled with her ever since she was a little girl, didn't really travel much at all, never mind travel and luxury. She wasn't in a place financially to go on these beautiful, luxurious trips. She had no idea how it was happening. So I just held the space for her, like I do with all my clients. And I just led her down the journey of dreaming and envisioning. So I started just asking her empowering questions, like, what would it look like for you, your dream trip, your dream honeymoon? Where do you think you want to go? What feelings do you want to feel that you're there? What memories do you want to create with your soon to be husband? Got her more into that emotional point and out of the head. Um, and yeah, she just started sharing me the experience she wanted to feel and the memories that she wanted to create. And then we even got into the next layer of that is, where do you see your life with your husband after? Like, what does that look like? What is the next chapter once you become husband and wife? Because, that's a shift in identity from, just girlfriend to fiance to wife. That's a huge shift in identity. So there's so many emotions being like just brought up. And I think we live in a life or a world where a lot of us haven't learned how to translate our emotions or aren't able to articulate these emotions, or they get suppressed. A lot of generations. I even come from that background, and something that I'm still personally working on and how to, right, emotional regulation and how to express yourself freely without being judged. So I think it's just being able to hold the
Mhm.
space for others to express their truth and come from a place of curiosity and really step in. I like to call this the feminine energetics. It's right, giving that tender love and care. And I think we're just so used to being in that masculine of being strong and just go, go, go and push, push, push. And we just got to draw our back self into that feminine identity. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's where true transformation happens. And we can really go inward into those emotions and into that identity of how do we want to feel. So next thing you know, a few months later, she reaches out. She goes, "I'm ready." And at this time, we still didn't have the full funds. Like when she reached out, so I tell people, like, when you're ready, just let me
Amazing.
know. Like we can work things out. You don't have. I think people think they need to have the funds immediately when they reach out with me. That is not the case with me because I'm telling. I can unlock some extraordinary deals and experiences. 'Cause everything I do, as you mentioned, I'm a concierge, so everything is
Yeah.
created towards you, to your level of investment. And so she came to me, and it's so funny. Almost with every client, they come to me with a specific level of investment
Yeah.
that they think they'll have by the time they're ready to book it. Almost every single one of them ends up investing more than what they thought. Like all of a sudden, they're able to find the resources to invest in extraordinary experience. And this
Yeah.
expansion gap, I like to say, for this client, for her, it was really tapping into that emotion and creating a safe space for her to express herself, express what she wanted, and shed this old identity of, luxury travel isn't for me. We got to step more into the desires and really kind of suffocate the fears.
Yeah. I love that. I absolutely love that. And you know what I was thinking about as you were talking is that, I'm a woman of color. For people who are watching, if you're not watching on YouTube, go watch on YouTube so you can see Michaela's absolutely gorgeous bronze skin. Like it's flawless, it's beautiful. Um, I don't know if you identify as a woman of color, if you work with them, and maybe even men too. Is there something specific, maybe around working with people of color, maybe marginalized identities, LGBTQ, that impacts? Does that additional identity
Okay, so when I think about this, is just from my personal experience, just being a woman of color and also working with those of color. If I look at those who've invested larger investments in luxury travel, they still did have fears, the same fears as those who aren't of color. When I think about the clients that I've worked with, a lot of them, they'll say self-made millionaires. I say God-made millionaires. And they've come from lack, they've come from struggle. Well, I want to say most of them are not a woman of color, but I've had a woman of color who went from, you could say, like the rags to riches stories. And then when I think about the clients who came to me where they were still in that identity, they didn't see the abundance that was available to them, and they were stepping into luxury travel in general. They just haven't stepped into the identity of it. I don't think they've had a role model or someone that mirrored luxury. And maybe now, as I'm saying this, maybe I'm a reflection for them as a woman of color. So they see that, okay, here's someone who comes from a similar background for me and she's doing luxury travel. Wow,
Mhm.
I'm going to go after this
Yeah.
episode and really think about you're going deep here. Yeah, maybe, oh, it's getting emotional. Maybe I am the mirror for someone who is a woman of color, that it is possible for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's beautiful, right? That so many people, you know, even me sometimes, that I grew up with some means. I grew up traveling quite a bit, but I know that some people are like, that's not me. Like, I don't belong there. Like, this isn't for me. But, we've had other people, I'll link to the show notes, another travel consultant, Brandy, who's also a woman of color, gorgeous. She talked about, um, sailing around Japan on Celebrity in Aqua Class. I think it's really important to have role models, right? That can show people that it's possible. One of the additional layer that you bring is that you really support people through that transition. It's one thing when somebody comes is like, "Yep, I'm ready to throw down 5 figures on a cruise. Here I am." But it's another thing for someone to be like, "Yeah, I'm not sure. That's not me." Like, okay, let's just baby step it through, right? Let's really guide someone through so that they can have that shift. Because we talked like those shifts can be uncomfortable, and that understand that sometimes it is uncomfortable. But I also love that take time. Like I've talked before about my luxury cruise experiences, like I book way in advance, way before I have those funds, and I pay it off slowly. And you find ways when you have the what securely in your mind, suddenly now you're looking for ways and you see the ways. It's like, oh, I can do that. Like, oh, I got my tax refund. I'm going to put that in my travel fund. I'm going to put that to my honeymoon, right? Oh, I got a bonus, or here's this little like extra project I can do. Oh, that's good. Whereas before you might be like, no, I'm not going to do that. Right now, without the pressure. So I absolutely love that. Yes, you are a mirror.
I wanted to touch deeper base on it. You mentioned like when you know the what and move away from the how. I think too, to go even a deeper layer, it's more of the why. So that's why I
Hmm.
like to ask questions like, well, it is a what question, but like what do you want to feel? But then like the next layer too is
Yeah.
why do you want to go on, for example, a honeymoon? Like, oh, I want to go on a honeymoon because usually you see it's like what everyone else is doing, but I'm like, no, but why? Like I like I'm going to push you to go deeper and deeper and contemplate on this, of course, and based on the conversation. I'm not gonna know you like, but why, but why, but why? I'll navigate it with other questions and weave them in there. But once you could really tap into a why on an emotional level. It was actually one of my clients' mentors, and she had shared it with me. She goes, when your why makes you cry, like that's it. When you could attach an emotional meaning to the why, like you'll prioritize it. You'll do whatever it needs to take to go on that cruise line, and you'll get your tax refund, or maybe invite more abundance into your life too. I don't want people to think that they have to make sacrifices or work harder and get into that masculine energy behind making this trip possible. You could just really, again, draw back into the vision, the why, get into the energetics, vision cast, dream, play in that frequency. And I'm telling you, the universe will deliver.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. That's amazing. So, do you have any luxury trips, cruise or otherwise, planned?
For myself, no, it sounds crazy. So my background, I traveled so much. I come from a middle class family, single mom, but she did everything she could. I experienced adventure ever since I was little, so I had a passion for travel. But luxury, that had been out of my reach. It wasn't a thing for me until recently. But I noticed too, as I was stepping into this identity of someone who sells luxury experiences, this journey in itself has been such an identity shift within me. So everything I speak about when it comes to embodiment and identity and luxury travel, it's a lived philosophy. So I'm going through this just as much as my clients are going through that, or just as much as anyone listening to this is going through this shift in identity. But for me, 2 years ago, I became a mother. So when I became a mom, so before that, I had done 1 year in luxury travel sales. I partnered with the best in luxury travel, learned everything I could around the industry. I knew I could work myself into doing luxury travel. I'm a very driven person and I achieved my goals. And then year two, I have a baby. Little did I know I was going to go through what I went through. So
Mm.
I actually experienced a traumatizing postpartum experience. I
Wow.
experienced the duality of life and near death. So I had to get an emergency C-section. Baby came out, the baby was safe. But on the operating table, I felt an explosion in my head. And I'm like, whoa, something's not wrong. So they ended up sending me home. They just like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just drink caffeine, drink soda. And it's like, okay. And obviously I'm dropped up. So I noticed once I was inclined, like the pressure relieved drastically, but it was still, I'm like, this isn't a normal headache. But anyways, they send me home 3 days later. I'm back in the ER. And the next thing you know, they're flying me in a
Oh my
helicopter to
gosh.
an IC unit because they found a brain hemorrhage. So yeah, that experience just changed everything to me, the trajectory of my life and my adventure. I guess I don't want to say it went on pause, but I have been in the season of really going internal deep, especially if anyone
Yes.
listens to this as a mother, that experience alone, when you transition into the identity of motherhood, like nothing can prepare you for it, nothing until you're in it.
Yeah.
And like your entire perspective of life just changes. So I've just been on this very inner, you going deeper, deeper with myself, the impact I'm supposed to create. So I'm doing a lot of like the deep work, the unseen work that you don't see, that's not getting those immediate results. That's really, it's developing my character and my identity. But of course, I'm still dreaming. I still haven't got clear where I want to go next. My partner asked me, like, where would you want to go next when we start, traveling internationally again? And I'm like, I don't know yet. There's so many places. So I think it's just because I haven't gotten clear on that yet. So I'm still doing the deep internal work. But I have been doing a lot of experience in Florida. So Florida has always been a dream state of mine. So we moved here 4 years ago. I'm originally from Massachusetts. So we travel a lot within throughout Florida, all the way to Miami. I'm in Central Florida. But we're getting
Hmm.
really in touch with like local communities. So I know I want to do something locally, maybe like a lunch or something, and start with there and create experiences within my community. and then eventually, travel again. And actually, Morocco may be one of my next destinations for next year.
Yep.
Next year is where I really start. So 2026 is going to be the year for me. But there's an industry event happening in Morocco that I will most likely be attending for sure. But yeah, that's where I'm currently at.
Awesome. Awesome. That's your next what is Morocco. Do you have a dream trip, cruise, destination?
Oh, just so many. I'd say I know something's calling me to the UK. I think it's more of just the entrepreneur in me, the businesswoman. I'm connecting with a lot of people online who are from the UK and just have like this beautiful, ambitious, business-driven mindset. So I think I just want to go out there with connect with amazing people there. But then there's also I dream of doing. So there's this layover with Fiji Airways from California. You could go into the Maldives, stay for a couple nights, and then take a flight to Australia. I think that's definitely like my top one of my to
That
experience.
sounds amazing.
And then as far as cruise back Egypt, just like my clients, I've designed for my clients like the specialized niche boutique luxury Nile River cruise. Maybe even think of my hosting my own experience. Maybe that's up on my dreams as far as cruise
Ooh,
lines. What I like to do.
yes. Well, that sounds amazing. Well, you mentioned LinkedIn. That's how we found each other. If people want to follow you or work with you, what are all the ways they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, LinkedIn is my main platform. That's what I'm on, but I'm on all social channels. So, Instagram, I have a Facebook, just not as active there at the time. There's also my email. We can link. You can reach out to me directly. So, whatever feels best for you, what is comfortable for you, just reach out in the DMs. I'm in there, and it's actually me in the DMs that will be DMing you. No AI, no assistant. So, you'll be able to talk directly to me. I love to create that personal experience with my whole journey when you reach out to me. So I'm more than happy in inviting you to reach out, DMs, whichever social platform. Again, we'll link them all, or to reach out directly via email as well.
Awesome. Do you have a website?
Yes, I do have a website. So it's Mirage Travel, Mirage, Merzh Travel. You can reach out there
Awesome.
too.
And we'll put that link in the show notes as well. Kayla, thank you so much. This has been such a beautiful conversation. I have just loved every second of it. And to all the listeners, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And until next time, I wish you safe and luxurious cruising.
Hey, before you go, if you're enjoying this content, I would so appreciate a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to this podcast. If you'd like to be on the show, there's a link to a form in the show notes, or you can email me at luxurycruisingpodcast@gmail.com. That's luxurycruisingpodcast@gmail.com. I hope to hear from you soon.